Good morning. Welcome to Friday. It's almost the weekend and just one more day of work to go. And there's a whole 2 days off ahead of you to look forward to. We're waking you up to Ireland AM.
Yes, coming up, 577 businesses in the food industry have permanently shut their doors since last September, with VAT hikes to blame for many. We'll be discussing the stories making today's front pages.
Rashida Adeleki is running for gold tonight at the Paris Olympics. We'll be chatting about that and the rest of the country's big sporting stories later this hour.
And there have never been more festivals, gigs and events in Ireland than now. But what happens if they're cancelled at the last minute or they're just plain bad? We're looking at you, Nicki Minaj. I'm not looking at you. If Nicki's fans want to step off, I'm not declaring any wars or battles. Okay, I'm not taking on Nicki. But yeah, there was a lot of disappointment for Nicki Minaj fans. We'll tell you what your rights are in about 45 minutes.
I can't believe you're starting beef with Nicki Minaj on a Friday morning.
Please, listen, we don't need to make this any bigger than it needs to be.
OK, but we're still going to be talking about you, Nicki. We asked the author behind the nation's newest nail-biter how a real-life haunting inspired her latest novel. Amanda Cassidy joins us after 8.
And I caught up with the cast of an Irish movie which is likely to find itself an Oscar nominee next February. Find out how I got on with the West Belfast rap trio at the Dublin premiere of Kneecap.
I heard it's brilliant.
It's phenomenal. It's explosive. The movie is incredible. It's so fast-paced. The energy, I just can't recommend it enough.
Wow. Looking forward to that later on. And Deric is gearing up to take on a teen prodigy this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you? Jeez, you're up right nearly. You just on the we were just doing the 6 o'clock show a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah. I know. It's been a busy 24 hours. Anyway, you mentioned a teen prodigy. He is indeed that by the name of Joe Shannon. He's won 18 national titles. Anyway, guys, welcome down here to County Kildare. It's a lovely start for the Lily Whites, but elsewhere we will see cloud thicken from the southwest. And in fact, a windy day in store. It will be gale force at times, especially through parts of the northwest onto coastal Atlantic regions. So bear that in mind if you are out and about. Now, the beautiful town of Selbridge here in County Kildare in full bloom at the moment. In fact, there you'll find the Selbridge Snooker Club, home to some of the top talent in the country. So we're going to be catching up with them a little bit later on this Friday morning, and hopefully we don't get snookered.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you, Hannah, and a very good morning. Broadcasting live here from the beautiful town of Selbridge here in County Kildare. The Tidy Towns crew have done a smashing job keeping the place spick and span. Coming up later on this morning, we're off to visit the local snooker club here in the area to check out some of the top talent here in the county. So that's all coming away live into the next hour at 8:45. Now, just past 7 o'clock here together. Mark Armstrong with us at cameras this morning. So let's take an opening look now at how it's shaping up as we work our way into the weekend and out to this morning. In fact, a lovely dry sunny start here for the Lily Whites. Elsewhere, it is a pretty decent one out there for most areas. Now we are seeing showers up around Dundalk there in County Louth, through parts of Cavan into Newry there in County Down, and parts of Carndonagh there through Donegal into the Inshone Peninsula, not escaping up there at the moment. Now working our way throughout this afternoon, in fact we do have that southwesterly airflow in the driving seat. Now the winds really will be the main feature out there today because they will be strong for those Atlantic coastal counties, but in fact reaching gale force for a time, especially through the northwest. So do be mindful if you are out and about. Top valleys of around 17 to 22 degrees at best. The best of the temperatures really away from Atlantic coast once again. So bringing us nicely into tonight, holding mainly dry and steady for a time. Those winds will abate and ease back. So we will see an improving picture with cloud cover building from the south-southwest. Once again, some light showers in across southern and northwestern regions with overnight lows there back to 11 to 14 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in a dry, sunny, settled Selbridge here in County Kildare. We'll be back again live at 7:35. We'll catch you then.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Now let's get a check on your morning newspapers, and we'll start with the Irish Times. They lead with Drew Harris turns down offer of contract extension. The paper reports that the Garda Commissioner has been approached by the government about another extension to his contract, but he has declined.
Watchdog force alleged abusers to leave family home. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. They report that the Children's Ombudsman has said that domestic abusers should be removed from their homes on foot of allegations of violence.
The Examiner leads with spike in food closures after VAT hike. The paper writes that more than 570 restaurants, cafes and other food businesses have permanently shut their doors since last September amid rising business costs and an increase in the VAT rate.
Onto the tabloids, and the Herald opens with detergent on cornflakes killed pensioner. It writes that an elderly man has died as a result of poisoning after he mistakenly poured washing detergent instead of milk on a bowl of cornflakes.
The Mirror leads with machete and bomb plot on Taylor Swift fans. It writes that 2 teenagers allegedly plotted to murder Taylor Swift fans with machetes and a bomb in Vienna.
The Daily Mail opens with, "We simply can't build that many new homes." It reports that officials in the Department of Finance have warned that housing figures lauded by Minister Deric O'Brien need to come with a huge caveat, and achieving them is highly unlikely.
The Sun this morning leads with the headline, "Nation holds its breath." It reports that sprinter Rashida Adeleke's proud mother has told excuse me, she's told how she's bursting, so am I. I'm getting emotional, bursting with pride as Ireland holds its breath for the final tonight. It's at 7 p.m. Adeleke is due to take her marks and get set to make history at Paris 2024.
And the Star opens with, "The track will be 90. It writes that the first ever civic reception for an Irish Olympic team will take place on Monday as the country celebrates its most successful games ever. The celebrations will mirror the reception given to Jack Charlton and the Ireland soccer team following their performance in Italian 90.
Now, later this evening, Rashida Adeleke becomes the first Irish woman to compete in an Olympic sprint final. Fingers crossed, we're set to witness a moment in sports history that we'll always remember. But with the ceremony closing on Sunday, we want to know, what's your most memorable Olympic moment of all time? Well,
So
guys,
it doesn't have to be an Irish athlete, can be anybody.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even have to be part of the
Oh, you mean so it
competitions.
could be some of the music?
Yes.
What music? What music from the Olympics?
Like the closing or opening ceremonies.
Oh, right, OK.
Yeah.
At the 2012 when the Spice Girls performed.
Exactly.
So that's where you went.
All right, now you're talking my language.
That's where you went straight away. Spice Girls.
Yeah.
And what,
Yeah,
were
okay,
they
right,
really
fair enough.
singing? Were they really?
Well, I don't care. It was the Spice Girls
It was
back
the
together
Spice
after how
Girls,
many
so yeah.
years? It was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you remember in Beijing they put the big drones up in the air? Instead of fireworks,
Yeah.
they put up drones.
Oh, it was a drone show.
It was well, now you see drone shows everywhere. They're like at Disneyland, and you see them all the time.
But that was
at the time,
first of its kind.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
None of us mentioning Michael Carruth yet. At what point does Carruth get a
We did speak about Michael last week
All right, okay,
as one of the
fine,
great Irish sporting Olympic moments.
Unbelievable.
But him, bouncing around when he won his gold medal as soon as the arm was raised. Great moment, great Olympic
and it was
moment.
such huge. That was 1992.
Yeah.
Such huge excitement. The whole nation again. Just it was an amazing time.
We were up pretty early because that was a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And Wayne McCullough had fought just a few fights earlier and had got a silver medal. So it was, quite a day. Quite a day. But
Yeah.
Michael winning gold, special
so
moment.
Spice Girls definitely number one, and then
Michael Carruth, a very, very close second to the Spice Girls.
Carl Lewis winning 4 gold medals in Los Angeles 40 years ago. You were only in God's pocket, young one. You were only in God's
Can't weigh
pocket.
in on
so
this
was I
one.
actually, Maren. But let's
Yeah,
not
so
think
was Ray.
of it. An Italian 90. Oh, anyway, well, let's get your texts on
Please.
Yes.
the usual number.
Your favourite Olympic moment of all time, 0896 111 111.
There it is. An Italian 90s style homecoming is expected now for Ireland's Olympic heroes. This is on Monday. We'll be discussing what's making the front of your morning newspapers on the way next.
Falter Rashka, Ireland AM. Now, it is a mixed bag across your morning papers today.
It sure is. Joining us to discuss what's making the front page is our account director with DHR Communications, Sheena Cahill, and political editor of the Sunday Times, Hugh O'Connell. You're both very welcome. Lovely to see you.
Good morning.
Happy Friday. We're nearly there.
We are.
Almost.
I know, but I feel wrecked from all the sports I've been watching.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Let's have to work tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
this is
yeah,
it. And as soon as you're like, oh, I'm not particularly into this, they put on something else.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's something else to be watching. Yeah, absolutely jaded from all of that. We can come to that in a minute, actually, because there's action tonight. Well, bad news, first of all. And we had one just yesterday, a cafe closing down. In our neighbourhood, they're saying that trading conditions are too tough. And Hugh, not just the price of everything going up, but the VAT conditions for trading for cafes and restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, restaurants and cafes and hotels and bars and pubs had for several years availed of this lower VAT rate of 9%. And the issue now is that it went back up in the last budget to 13.5%, which is the standard. There's 2 standard rates of VAT, and that's the lower one. And they're saying this is killing them. And the figures out from the Restaurants Association of Ireland is that 577 closures since that new VAT rate came in. The thing about it is that it's really expensive for the government to do. It costs anything, I think, between 500 and 700 million euro of taxpayers' money effectively foregone by lowering this VAT rate. The government is saying now that it's probably just too expensive to do in this budget, but the restaurants and the bars and the hospitality industry are calling for something to be done in the budget that's going to alleviate their costs. I think from the other perspective as well is that if you lower the VAT rate, it's not necessarily going to lower the cost of your burger and chips, your prawn cocktail, whatever. From the government's perspective, they'd want to see it passed on to consumers, whereas the reality is that businesses are closing because their costs are too high. So they'll maybe look at something else, but I don't think the VAT rate is going to change in the budget.
Right.
Something's got to change though, because the businesses that have closed this year, like 101 in January this year versus 18 in January last year, that's shocking, Sheena.
Yeah, I think every town in Ireland has been impacted by the closure of restaurants, and we all know how important those premises are, particularly on our main streets. Spaces where people can meet and chat over meals and all that kind of stuff. But what's, I suppose, interesting here, I guess, is that this is the road into budget. So there is no surprise that you are going to hear every group possible vying for newspaper space to discuss their issues on the lead up to the budget. And so again, it's no surprise that the Restaurants Association, which I'm sure are very under pressure from their membership at the minute around that VAT rate, very much pressing on government to decrease the VAT rate as one of the things they see that government could do to help them. If I was a betting woman, I wouldn't be betting that the government would be lowering it on this occasion. As you said, the cost to government is significant if they were to try and reduce it. Having said that, you would hope that there would be some other measure and an appreciation for that sector and the services that are provided in that sector across retail. It is struggling at the minute, and restaurants in particular, we have seen it. So it will be interesting to see to what extent this lobby effort will impact any result in the budget this year.
Yeah, and you're like you say, you're talking about really sort of the grassroots of your community, like the coffee shop or the place to meet or the place where we all, we'll pop in and we'll get a cup of tea there. It'll be interesting to see. It's a fine line between people losing their jobs and an entire industry being impacted so badly, and at the same time the cost to the exchequer.
And most people would say, and most families would say, that it's not possible for them to go out for a Sunday lunch anymore. The reality is that those costs are very, very real. Think about all, even if you're thinking about families who are on holidays in Ireland at the minute, I mean, a cost for five to go out to eat in a restaurant is enormous. But you also need to think about the fact that we have to look after workers in the sector as well. So there's a lot to be considered when it comes to that VAT rate and the future, I suppose, of restaurants. So it will be interesting to see what government respond to this call. Yeah,
they've got another few weeks to be working to crunch the numbers on that. Drew Harris, Hugh, this is the Garda Commissioner. He had already done 5 years. They gave him another 2, and they said, any chance he'd stick on for another 2?
And he said no, according to the Irish Times today. He's declined the offer of staying on. And this is a real problem now it'll be a problem for the next government, I guess, when he leaves in 10 months' time, because they had a great problem trying to replace or trying to get a Garda Commissioner in the first place. There was an acting commissioner for a good while after Noreen O'Sullivan resigned in 2017. And even the recruitment of Drew Harris in and of itself, a former PSNI officer, was a significant moment in the history of An Garda Síochána. And there's this pension issue that it will affect the recruitments of any serving Gardaí, so assistant commissioners. It's quite complex, but effectively what it would mean is that any of these assistant commissioners that go for this job would face a huge pension liability upon retirement of anywhere between, I think, 300,000 and 500,000 euro. So this is a disincentive for them to apply. So you're probably going to see again that the Gardaí will recruit from outside the force to replace Drew Harris. But
someone who's come up through the Guards in Ireland, they're going to be stung tax-wise once they retire.
Yes, that's
so what's the point in them going for it? Will be there.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Now I know the government is having a look at this, I think, as to whether they can change it. But obviously, kind of changing tax liability for high earning individuals would be controversial in itself. So they'd want to do it, I guess, in a way that it doesn't necessarily, you don't lose a lot of tax revenue as a result. But this will be a real problem for the government. The Guards obviously have been much focus on the Guards in recent times. Drew Harris has had a very testy relationship with the rank and file, the GRA motion of no confidence in him, which was unprecedented. So I'm not surprised in a sense that he's decided that he wants to pack it in 10 months' time after doing 7 years, but it'll be a real challenge for the government to try and replace him.
And finally, we might just touch on the story in the Irish Daily Star today about the Olympic homecoming on Monday, Sheena.
Oh, it's so exciting. I'd love to say, I think I should get the day off work.
We should all get the day off work.
Campaigning now.
So yes, the headline in the Irish Daily Star is "The track will be 90," which I think is class and very much leans into the two lads from Cork getting a lift down to Cork with a lad from Limerick during the week.
He's from Mallow, just to
he's from Mallow, not Cork. God, I couldn't make him out to be a town man. But on Monday, I think for the first time ever, we're going to have an Olympic homecoming for Team Ireland. So it's not just for the medal winners and not just for our gold winners, of which there are many, and it's absolutely incredible. But it's for the whole team. And I think that's the right message to send, because everybody who goes out there representing Team Ireland has been incredible and has acquitted themselves so amazingly, and this wasn't a 4-year journey for any of them. We know some of them were 3 and 4 when they thought about competing in an Olympics nearly. So to have, I think, a big crowd outside the GPO on Monday, I think from 12:30 there's a free event, it's with music, and the athletes will take to the stage, and I think it'll be great to see, and I hope the weather is good for them as well.
Yeah, come on,
come on weather, come on Ireland. I know,
we're cheering on the weather. This is the thing, and we were just complaining about how we're wrecked going from one event to another to another.
Would you be able?
Isn't it amazing to have an Irish person in nearly all, to get us through the day?
I know, and they've given us such a lift as well. I know, it's been great.
What are we going to do next week?
What are we
going to have to talk about?
We'll start training.
We'll have to train ourselves. That's actually
we're going to
join our local sports club.
Yeah. So much for putting on this morning.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Thanks, guys. After the break, a look ahead to Rashida's chances tonight. We're talking sport next.
All right, welcome back. All eyes are on Ireland's golden girl, Rashida Adeleke, as she goes for Olympic glory on the track tonight. But before that, there's plenty of European football from last night to get through. And presenter of the Tackling Sport podcast, Daniel Hussey, joins us now. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
We are going to get around to the athletics in a couple of minutes' time. But first, to look back on last night's football. Again, much like last week, it was good for one and not so great for another, though both Irish sides are still in the tie. So let's start with Rovers, because they were in the Europa League. In action last night against Celje, and look, they're still in the tie.
Yeah, Stephen Bradley and his team were very unhappy when they arrived Wednesday. To find the pitch, basically, was the sort of excuse put out, and how terrible it was, and we had to change the way we play. Now, the frustration, listening to that interview, was like, surely you find out about that pitch long before Wednesday. But yeah, look, that Slovenian side didn't seem to be any great shakes overall. And as Bradley said in his press conference, it's going to be a completely different type of game in Tala next week. So, look, it's a massive game for them. Like we sort of know this from Rovers' run, was it 2 or 3 years ago, that you just keep winning games in the competitions, you'll probably end up in that conference group stage almost by default, which is probably the easiest way for them to qualify. So winning this tie is massive. It just means they get that extra insurance. So I wouldn't rule them out at all. Like, they're missing Johnny Kenny there at the moment.
That was a big loss.
He's a big loss for them, and just in terms of scoring goals, they seem a little bit out of ideas. Although I do expect Tala to be rocking. I expect very close to a sellout. And let's hope that they can get a result, because it's big for the league that Rovers in particular, because they're not quite in the title race, although they're still massively in the title race, but because maybe they won't win the league this year, the big focus for them could be the group stage and getting to a group stage of European football.
Let's wait and see what happens. Tala was rocking last night, but it was because of St. Pat's. But again, they could have done with another goal, but they still head away for the away leg with a 1-0 lead.
In the good old days, the 1-0 home win was great, where nowadays it's like, oh no, it's only one goal, there's no away goals. But Stephen Kenny said after the amount of games they have to play, that Galway game is going ahead on Sunday, which is, I think, it's going to end up being their 5th game in 15 days when they play their second leg. But yeah, this is the own goal that gave them the goal. Yeah. The goal, and look, it's a massive goal at the end to get that crucial 1-goal lead. But look, Kenny himself knows in European ties how little a 1-goal lead is at the best of times. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a tough second leg for them, but to give themselves a chance and a shot at it is crucial. So Mixed side. The good news from both Europe is both teams are well in their second ties for various reasons. But yeah, Pats will have a tough game to go away and try and get a result. But look, a draw for them would be perfect. And like you said, though, second goal would have probably been fair.
And they had so many chances. I think Joe Redmond sat up all night trying to figure out, how did I not score?
And as I just touched on there, like, those second legs are so much different to the first leg, like home and away. So,
and let's also point out that Saba have an awful lot of financial backing behind them. And there's a lot of internationals in that team.
They're talking of that place to be rocking in Azerbaijan next week. So I think, tad nervous for them, but I'm hoping they can just see out the game, you know.
Before we move on to athletics, there's a couple of games on tonight in the Electricity League. Derry have the chance to go top if they can get a result at home to Dundalk. And it hasn't been a great season for Dundalk, so people are expecting a Derry win.
And it'd be very big psychological boost. Like we've seen this in title race down through the years, that you're almost better off getting the points on the board and quirk of the fixture list, or games in hand, or missing games getting cancelled. So. Yeah, Shell's 3 points clear, will win a game in hand. But if Derry go level with Shell's having 2 games in hand, I just think it changes the picture a bit. So Shell's have been nervous, and speaking to a lot of Shamrock Rovers fans, they are not ruling out a title bid. They are keeping an eye on what's happening at the top sneaking along. The draw on Monday night for them was absolutely perfect. I'd say they enjoyed every minute of it. So we could still have a 3-way title race.
Let's wait and see. But it could be an interesting night, always. Let's move on then to the athletics and. Rashida Al-Aleki, 7 o'clock tonight. She'll be taken to the track for the 400 metres final. And as we've seen, as we witnessed in the semi-finals, she'll do well to get into the medals.
Yeah, I think her aim, probably going into the games, is maybe get in and around that bronze medal. And I know Price has gone out, so effectively a second silver medalist has come alive in Donasser. So. And Pereira is obviously going to go out, or Polino, and go out and win it. So more than likely. So you're looking at a bronze medal where 3 or 4 of them will be in the hunt. But I think the lane draw will be crucial for those that watch the semi-final. I feel she got spooked a bit from having someone on her inside so quickly.
She was in lane 8.
She would have been so prepared for that race, and I'd say her and Coach Flo just didn't expect Donasser to improve that much from the heats. She didn't really feel like she could run that sort of time again. She obviously served a 2-year doping ban, which for Irish point of view I guess is very frustrating. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for her to run her race. I just hope that coming into the straight, she's in there with a medal contention, and to be honest, after that it'll be fine. I'd say she'll take a lot from that, but it's just the problem with her coming along around this time is she's 21, but the 400 metres is so competitive. And even we saw the hurdles yesterday. Those two of the top 3 there could easily be running in this as well. So it's from an Irish point of view, it's actually frustrating that she's come along, and the 400 metres right now is just, in both divisions, but particularly the women's, is insane.
Okay. Because of that final, Rashida's not involved in the 4x400 metres relay today. You think I
think we can sneak qualification.
Okay.
So it's 2 semi-finals, which means top of my head, it'll be top 3 in both. So that gives you a chance, but also the 2 fastest losers. Or 2 fastest non-qualifiers, as they call it nowadays. But I have hopes that we'll be in and around that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And look, with relays, anything can happen. But if we could sneak in, let Rashida do her thing tonight. Yeah. And if someone approached her tomorrow morning going, how's the body? You all good? Yeah, well, we've got a relay final tonight. I'm sure she will, provided the body's okay. But after an excruciating final, although there has been talk she's been a bit fatigued, that she will be able to do the final. And if she does, there is a top 5 or 6 available there. And when there's a top 5 or 6 available in the final, Martin, there could easily just be a 4th and perhaps maybe a medal. So that's very ambitious. But right now, I think the goal, it will be tough to get through to the final, but those girls will run their heart out, and we've seen them do it for the last 2-3 years. They're a team that have sort of taken the nation's heart, even in the small events. The interaction you get from people on social media, just loving the relays. I think we're a team of relays, and I think we've had to sort of temper expectations that Rashida is fully entitled to run her individual, every other woman is going to be in that 400 metres. So it's important just to give people context. She's not running because no one else in the final is running, and they're all saving their bodies for later. Which is completely
Sarah Lavin is also going in the hurdle semi-final.
Yeah, she ran a really good time. And very close to her PB. She will have to probably beat her PB, and to do that in an Olympics is very tough, to be honest. If she runs her PB today, she may be again 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, top 8 gets her through time wise. So that could be an interesting way. And even Mark English as well. He's been sort of tiptoeing around big championship performance. Not that he hasn't performed before, but just maybe a little bit below his expectation, where that felt like a great run. And even chatting to him, to David Giddick afterwards, he has a sight on a final. Now, for him to sneak a final in the 800 metres men's would be honestly as good as an achievement as there been through any of Team Ireland for the last 2 weeks. And not enough's been spoken about him, because I guess he's been around for so long and hasn't quite done it. It's probably not the fairest way of saying it, but he's been around for so long basically and being consistent. But to get to an Olympic sprint final in the 800 metres again, another competitive one would be huge. So yeah, people to watch out. Yeah, Adeleke, Sarah Lavin and Mark English are very exciting.
Okay. And good luck to Kate O'Connor as well in the heptathlon. And very quickly, Daniel Whiffen, the marathon in swimming, 10 kilometre swim in a river where they haven't allowed anybody get in for 100 years. Literally. He's about 16th or 17th.
Yeah, well, if he's 16th, I checked, he was 12th and 14th, and I'm taking 16th or 17th to the up-to-date. So there won't be a medal, unfortunately. Got to be excited early on. He was in the top few. It was a big ask, I guess, but he's had a fantastic gold and bronze. And to be honest, half the country woke up, or at least they told me that they woke up this morning for it. So I think it's once every 4 years people are getting up 6:30 to watch people swim in the river. So.
Okay, anyway, we wish them well. Yeah. And there'll be a bit of a shindig come Monday night. Good to see you, Daniel.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Okay. After the break, just what are your rights when a festival or gig you've bought tickets for falls through? Stay with us. We'll have all you need to know in just a minute.
You're very welcome back now. It's been a summer of music around the country, from Taylor Swift to Bruce Springsteen, and with Coldplay and Electric Picnic just around the corner.
But what happens if something goes wrong? Your favourite artist is late, or is a no-show at the last minute, or the festival itself cancels? The big question is, can you get your money back? Well, here to tell us more is consumer journalist Siobhan Maguire. Good to see you, Siobhan.
Good morning.
So this all, we're talking about this because of Wild Roots.
We are indeed, yeah. Wild Roots was the festival that was set to go ahead at the end of May into early June in Sligo. And in theory sounded like a great idea and a great place, to hold a festival. Sold loads of tickets, and then it was cancelled just before it was supposed to start. So on Tuesday of this week, the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission put out a statement on its website, basically saying that it had ordered the festival guys, they're called NOC Shop, this was the company that was behind the festival, to give people refunds for their tickets. And if they fail to do so by the 16th of August, which is next week, they could face a fine of €4,000. They could face 6 months in jail. So it was a very real warning. It was sending out the message, look, as a trader, you provide a service to the consumer. So you were promising them a festival. It didn't happen. Therefore, you have to give all that money back. Now, I did hear on local radio in the area, Ocean FM, it had reported that the company has gone into liquidation. And that was at the end of July. And if this is the case, then anyone who has bought tickets to that festival is now an unsecured creditor and at the very bottom of a very, very long list behind revenue, bank debts, suppliers who are still chasing money. It's highly unlikely you would get your money back in that instance. It will be interesting to see what comes out of this CCPC warning. It might be a little too late, I feel.
We have read, particularly this year, we were just talking about restaurants shutting up shop because of VAT rates. We have read a lot this year about various, because there had been a spate in the last sort of 10 years or so of little boutique festivals popping up all over the country, and we were celebrating our local festivals and an opportunity. Oh, geez, that's nearby. Maybe I don't have to travel so far to see some of my favourite artists. But this year, over the last 12 months or so, we've seen more and more of those festivals saying, so we can't operate this year, we can't do it this year, it's just too expensive, or we'd have to charge too much for tickets. This is something that the consumers or that music fans are going to be seeing more and more of, that there's a chance that my tickets, or I'll buy the tickets now for this thing that's going to be happening in a year, 6 months, 4 months, and then what are my chances of actually going to the gig? Is there anything you can do when buying the tickets to sort of secure yourself. I mean, you'd hear this thing about like, well, maybe if I put it on the credit card, maybe I can charge it back to the credit card. Are there any sort of safeguards in place in a situation like this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ray. You know, if you're going to buy your tickets, buy them on the credit card if you can. Buy them by card, basically, because you have the chance then to do a chargeback if anything goes wrong. And the chargeback is made through your bank, and you can argue the case that I paid for a service, I didn't get the service because the festival went bust, or it was cancelled at the last minute, or whatever happened, and you can get your money back that way. And it is relatively successful most of the time. We have kind of muddy waters when it comes to, say, gigs like, let's take the Nicki Minaj concert.
All right, this is when she showed up. Was it super late?
Super late. Now, she was due to go on stage 8:20, Malahide Castle, play until 10:30, which was when the curfew was happening. And then, you know, that was all going to be fantastic. Fans were going to get value for money, and they were going to get what they were promised. Now, as we know, she turned up super late and played for just under an hour. So fans, an awful lot of them very, very young, were left there in the rain, you know, scratching their heads, wondering if they can get their money back. And in circumstances like this, it's not clear cut. You can't just say, go to your bank, I need a charge back because I only got half of Nicki Minaj, essentially.
Yeah. So, is there a contract there, like the contract between like the ticket purchaser and the artist? So no more than in Europe we'll have a contract which is like, you're supposed to provide a service. If you don't provide the service, you get your money back.
Yeah, you have the contract with the promoter. Right. MCD in this instance. So, you know, and I haven't seen the terms and conditions for Nicki Minaj, and this is what makes it a little difficult to try and assess what people's rights are in relation to this. But if there was something within that contract that stated Nicki will be on stage from 8:20 until 10:30, then 100% you are entitled to your money back, because it states that that's the service they're supposed to provide you, and it's not going to happen. I would encourage anyone who still has a gripe in relation to Nicki Minaj and isn't able to get their money, and MCD has stayed absolutely silent on the whole thing, I would be shouting from the rooftops. I'd be going back to my bank. I would try and get the charge back, but I would go to the CCPC. And I think if we can get loads of people to approach the CCPC on issues like this at the one time, they're going to take note, because that's what happened with Wild Notes. They had 39 people, you know, members of the public reach out about Wild Roots. Now, there's hundreds more out there who are still trying to get their money, but it was enough, you know, almost 40 people was enough for, you know, that consumer watchdog group to sit up and go, oh, right, we're getting involved. So,
look, I'm sure the promoter were given stage times at Malahide. It's just Nicki decided, I'm not going on. Well,
then I guess the promoter can hold her
accountable for it. What about a festival, say, that we go to, get all together now? I went off to the Rewind gig that was on in St Anne's Park at the bank holiday weekend in June. But there was a little caveat saying that this is the list of artists who are going to appear, but that may change. And that was the case only recently when Roisin Murphy didn't show up. Now, there would have been a lot of people who would have gone to see All Together Now with the hope of seeing her play live. And she was unwell. So, you know, if she's unwell, she's unwell and she can't perform. Can you ask for your money back in that situation?
You can't. And the reason for this is because your contract with the festival organisers is to buy into a festival experience. Okay. So you might be, you know, Roisin Murphy's #1 fan in the entire world, but that doesn't matter because you are buying into All Together Now to go to an experience. So it is unfortunate. As you say, she was genuinely ill, and it had nothing to do with the organisers of All Together Now. You know, they couldn't have foreseen this. So no, you can't get your money back. I mean, I think for fans, you have to be reasonable. If you want to just see Roisin Murphy, just go to a Roisin Murphy gig. and that's the way it is. But no,
there's no recourse.
No, you
in that
can't argue that. Yeah, you have to be fair as well.
Okay, so our 2 lessons are use the credit card.
Yeah.
Consider chargeback, contact your bank, and CCPC. CCPC.ie. I guess
exactly.
Look it up for CCPC if you want to be pursuing any issues that you've had with your gigs. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you again. Cheers.
Still to come, how you can save yourself a few bob fixing your own broken kitchen cupboards.
Okay. Plus, Deric will be meeting the teenage snooker sensation taking Ireland by storm. We'll see you after these. Now let's have a look at your morning newspapers, and we'll start with the Irish Times. And they lead with Drew Harris turns down offer of contract extension. The paper reports that the Garda Commissioner has been approached by the government about another extension to his contract, but he has declined it.
Watchdog force alleged abusers to leave family home. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. They report that the Children's Ombudsman has said that domestic abusers should be removed from their homes on foot of allegations of violence.
The Examiner leads with spike in food closures after VAT hike. The paper writes that more than 570 restaurants, cafes and other food businesses have permanently shut their doors since last September amid rising business costs and an increase in the VAT rate.
On to the tabloids, and the Herald opens with detergent on cornflakes killed pensioner. It writes that an elderly man has died as a result of poisoning after he mistakenly poured washing detergent instead of milk on a bowl of cornflakes.
And the Mirror leads with machete and bomb plot on Taylor Swift fans. It has the story that 2 teenagers allegedly plotted to murder Taylor Swift fans with machetes and a bomb in Vienna.
The Daily Mail has as its headline, "We simply can't build that many new homes." It reports that officials in the Department of Finance have warned that housing figures lauded by Minister Darragh O'Brien need to come with a huge caveat, and achieving them is highly unlikely.
And The Sun has the headline, "Nation holds its breath." It reports that sprinter Rashida Adeleke's proud mother has told us how she's bursting with pride as Ireland holds its breath for the final tonight. At 7 p.m, Adeleke is due to take her marks and get set to make history at Paris 2024.
And the Star opens with, "The track will be 90. It writes that the first ever civic reception for an Irish Olympic team will take place on Monday as the country celebrates its most successful games ever. The celebrations will mirror the reception given to Jack Charlton and the Ireland soccer team following their performance in Italia 90.
Yes, and we're chatting all things Olympics today. We're looking forward to Rashida tonight. We were saying earlier on, what do we do after the Olympics? We'll watch the Paralympics.
Yeah.
They start the following week.
Oh, right, they're straight after?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and
right.
we'll have, of course, an Irish team there, so that's what we'll be doing.
Helen Keane in her last Paralympics.
Yes, swimming.
Yeah, she's retiring after this year, so we wish her well and hope that she can pick up another medal.
Yes, we'll be watching and shouting for...
Good luck, Helen.
Yes. So we were asking you guys at home, what was your favourite memory, Olympic memory of all time? We've got lots of texts coming in. Someone says, one of the greatest Olympians of all time, Olga Korbut's death loop in Munich in 1972.
Listen, if you haven't seen it, just Google it.
I will.
It's absolutely amazing. And the following Olympics, Nadia Comaneci from Romania, she was competing and she was also sensational.
This is gymnastics, is it?
Gymnastics,
yeah. And was this the move that was then made illegal after
illegal?
Death loop. I feel like I'm stuck in a death loop in terms of my life. It's just the same thing every day. And it should be illegal, frankly.
To be here.
I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about the rest of my life. John says the year Gabriel Selassie running, I'm pronouncing that right, Selassie?
Yeah.
His running shoe got walked off him as he ran the last lap in one shoe to win.
Imagine running with a slight limp because your shoe's gone and you still managed to win it.
Still won.
No problem there. All right. Mick says 92 Olympics in Barcelona when Freddie Mercury and Montserrat Caballé sang Barcelona. And Whitney Houston's One Moment in Time. That's from Mick, the taxi man in Finglas. Did she perform that at the Olympics? She wrote it for the Seoul, for the American team competing at the Seoul Olympics in '88. But Mick's got memories of that, and Lionel Richie as well in '84 in LA.
The musical performances, yeah, they're as big as...
You see, he remember the Spice Girls?
Straight away, 2012 was Spice Girls in London. But will anyone be talking about Lady Gaga's performance on the Seine in Paris?
I don't think so.
I think they might be talking about Celine Dion.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
On the Eiffel
I
Tower.
expected better from Gaga, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, shots fired.
Sorry. Look, you're beefing with Nicki Minaj, I'm beefing with Lady Gaga.
The monsters are going to be coming after you, Shiva. I tell you, look out. Keep the head down.
Let us know any other Olympic memories. 0896 111 111.
Next, we talk to the woman who turns her biggest fears into captivating crime thrillers. We're back with author Amanda Cassidy after the break. Welcome back. From missing children to departed sons to now a haunted home. Our next guest uses her words to bring our biggest fears to life.
Joining us now is Amanda Cassidy, the journalist who turned her experience with true crime into a very successful literary career. She's just released her new novel, The Perfect Place. Amanda, congratulations on the book. So it hit shelves just this week. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in. The Perfect Place is what I'm calling my perfect summer read. And it's the story, it's a psychological thriller. And it's the story of influencer Elle Littlewood, and she's decided to chart a renovation of a crumbling French chateau to her followers. So it's an escape to the chateau meets Lucy Foley's Paris apartment type novel, and it's been great fun to write.
OK, the thing is that poor Elle's starting to lose followers, and her agent is saying, listen, you need to do something, and this is a project that needs to be done. But as she's gazing up at the house before the agent arrives, she sees something in the window. This goes off an experience of yours.
It does, actually. So the book is a bit of a mashup between my time spent in France when I was 16. I did those kind of French exchanges. And my time, I lived in Siena for a year in Italy. And I was working for a family as an au pair in a chateau. And they told me that the place was haunted. So we used to be running around with the kids in the vines, and then there was like creepy tunnels underneath. So it was always stuck in my head that I really wanted to write a book about this experience. And then a real life thing called en viagère, which in French, it's a property term in French, which means that you can buy a chateau like this for a really knockdown price, but it comes with its owner. So the premise is the longer they live, the more you will have to pay them. So it is such a motive for murder because...
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is unusual.
And this book also touches on kind of a downfall of a social media influencer and the parasocial relationships that can happen between a content creator and their followers. What drew you to that theme?
I think we all consume social media in a way. We've all seen the people on social media who you look at and they're so glossy and shiny and their lives look so amazing. And I thought it would be so interesting to get behind that and see what it's really like and what's behind the coin, if you like, when it comes to it. I also worked in a lot of digital media, so I could see behind the scenes the importance of the clicks and the likes and how long somebody was spending on a page, for example. So I just found the whole thing fascinating, the science behind it, and how sometimes appearances are just so deceiving when it comes to the real life situation. And I think Elle, my character in The Perfect Place, was a great study in that all that glitters is not gold.
Elle has another side to her, though. Yeah.
That's right. So the story centres on Elle Littlewood, the influencer, her fiancé, Will Buchanan, and her online producer, Sue. And Sue is a bit of one of those smiling knives where, those friends you have where they're so happy for you, but they're not really. They're underneath it all, they're like, oh, frenemies. Can't I have that? Frenemies. So she's torn. Will is torn because he's suddenly lost a bit of money, and Elle is focused on this dream of having her home, this perfect home. So they all have motivations for something sinister happening, and on this book, it opens with a murder, and you don't know who died or who did it until the last page. So it's really been fun to write these kind of devious characters.
I cannot imagine. Did you have to spend a lot of time on Instagram now as research for this?
Oh, yeah, total research. My research, my kind of indulgent research was like, I have to go to France, the south of France. And
you poor thing.
Yeah, to go and see.
It's all for work. There's no joy in it.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, no, you do. But it was fun kind of delving down. I have a few influencer friends, and that was really interesting to get a take on what it's like to live that life where one wrong brand alignment can really destroy what you've built up, your entire followers. So that part was very interesting.
What was the most interesting takeaway you got from speaking to influencers like that?
I think there's such an entrepreneurial spirit with people who are on social media, and I think they get such an unfair rap a lot of the time that they're so easy to take down, I think, when you have this lovely life that you're curating. But in a way, we're all telling our own stories and our own narratives about our lives in different ways. So they're just doing it in a way that they actually can pay for their families.
Yeah. It is a job.
Yeah.
It is a job.
It is a job.
And it does take up an awful lot of time. You use life experiences, though, right across your books. You were on your way home one night with your family when you got the idea for The Return, which was your previous book.
Yeah, so I really do kind of channel my real life experience into my writing. And the Return, which is my previous book, we had a house fire in our own house. So we were coming home one day with the children, with 3 young children, and we just saw these 8-foot flames coming from our house. It was like something from a nightmare. So everything was fine in the end, luckily, and it was ended up being a problem with our wood-burning stove. But I wanted to write about that experience and just channel it in a very cathartic way. And so I wrote in my second book about a house fire where a woman runs into her house to save her child, but her child isn't there. And then afterwards, everyone told her that, you know, the child had perished in the fire. So, and then she sees her child on the street a few years later, and people think she's gone a bit mad. So I love writing these things because it helps me to process them in a way.
Yeah.
And I think with The Perfect Place, it wasn't as, I suppose, dramatic as a house fire, but I mean, we all consume social media in that way. It was very interesting to get under the
There's
surface.
a dead body on the first page.
Yeah.
You're playing out your fears.
Not messing around here. No, I think people will enjoy sitting by the sun lounger and picking it up for sure.
Yeah.
You haven't always been an author. You started out as a journalist with Sky News. Tell us about those early days and how you rose up in the ranks there.
Oh, well, I started off as an internship in Sky News and really loved it. And I think I'm a big believer in just hard work and passion, and then everything else will fall into place. So I used to turn up, even as an intern, I used to turn up every day in my suit, and I used to try and get as much as I could from editing and all the different areas. And then lo and behold, one day somebody didn't turn up and I was able to do an As Live, and it just kind of went from there. And then I went on to work on radio for a decade, which was brilliant. I worked in News Talk with a great team there. But I think it was always writing that kept drawing me back. And because I'd experienced some, you know, crime coverage and all of that, it was really nice to switch to writing fiction so that you could have a bit of control over the ending of a story and, you know, find your own way of reconciling what had happened.
Okay, you beautifully paint pictures in your books. And does that come from your radio training or from your journalistic training, or both?
I think you're right. I think it might be both. I remember one producer that I had in Sky News before telling me that radio was theatre for the mind, and that always stuck with me. And actually, when I was writing my scripts for reading the news on News Talk, sometimes we would have human interest stories, and I just loved creating that picture of what the background was, or if someone I was interviewing was hugging a mug of tea or something. And I think just creating those pictures in people's minds, it brings an atmosphere and a tone that I like to play with as well.
You must have covered some very harrowing cases while you're a journalist and on the radio. It must be very powerful then to be able to control the bad stories yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're all trying to just figure our way through life, and I do tend to write about things that are my biggest fears as well. And I think that if you can kind of step outside of the real life things, like for example, my first book is about a child going missing on a beach on holidays, which was my fear when I was trying to watch my children on the beach. So I think if you try and step out of it and write it in a way where you have some control over it, you can kind of work your way through it almost.
Powerful,
yeah, it is.
Does it help you sleep better at night?
I don't know about that. I have a devious mind. No, I'm just lying there thinking of who I'm going to murder next. No, but it does. I think writing has always been so cathartic, and just writing for well-being. People journal a lot. You know, there's just a lot to be said for getting things out of your head on paper. And if you can entertain people and connect with people along the way, well, then that's just even more wonderful.
Okay.
So you've 3 books written. Is it true the 4th is on the way?
The 4th is done. Yeah,
Oh, wow,
the 4th is done. Early days for it, but it's done.
Okay.
I'm hoping
so
to.
what life incident or experience has influenced this 4th book? Or are you going to tell us when you come
back? It's a prison
back?
break book. It's like somebody like any of us who suddenly end up thrown into the jail system, and then what would happen if you had an opportunity to make your way out. So it's also a fun read, and I enjoyed writing it.
Having flicked through The Perfect Place, could there be another one in the offing?
Oh, like a continuation of it. Oh, I wouldn't rule that out. There's some really strong characters in there that I would love to bring out and kind of make dance again for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed writing it, so yeah, I think so.
Amazing. Amanda, thanks so much for coming in and chatting to us about that. Best of luck with the book.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll all be picking that up in the airport or wherever we're going over the next one. Anyway, remember, you can grab your own copy of Amanda's newest nail bite at the perfect place, available in all good bookstores now.
She'll also be appearing at Miswiggins Bar in Galway tonight from 6:30 and at Electric Picnic next Sunday at 3 if you'd like to pop along to hear some more.
Coming up, DIY for dummies. It'll need to be. It's me and Ray. We're saving some cash by fixing our own kitchen cupboards. Find out how after this break. Now, creaky, misaligned kitchen cabinets can be annoying, but we can easily fix it ourselves.
Can we? We're about to find out. Joining us is Martin Glynn from the DIY Academy to show us that we don't need to call the handyman for everything. Martin, I must confess, my go-to line is always, get a real man in. Ring a real man. You are a real man. Thanks so much for joining us.
You just don't want to take the blame.
Well, this is it. I'm not.
It's his fault.
I get it in the neck when it comes to. And I'm not going to lie. I was just telling Martin this a few minutes ago. We have an integrated fridge and it won't close properly because the door is wonky on it. Or do you know you got the situation where the press doors are sort of, one is higher than the other and they're not fully aligned, and it's the only thing you can see. You can't take your eyes off it. And every time I try and go and have a look and try and fix it, I get it wrong. I can't fix it. So this is on the to-do list very much. So you're going to show us
to invoice you after this. So
well, this is a masterclass I'm getting this morning. I'll be sending you photographs this evening when I get home.
Very good.
Right. So where do we start?
So first things first is in your kitchens, everything is very standard size. So I know you look at kitchens, they all look different, but like all these kitchens components are all standard and they all fit all these different types of kitchens. So the main thing that happens with a kitchen long term, say if you have young kids and stuff like that, is a screw can get rounded or can be pulled off. The door can be pulled off, essentially. So if you could have a screw like this, so this is nice and tight here.
Yeah.
But then you could have another one that's just rounded like this.
Oh yeah,
it'll stay spinning.
So we're talking about the biscuit press and the treat press because they're the most used.
They're the ones they hang off the doors as well. They swing. It's like a playground.
They use it as a means of climbing.
And over time that'll happen. Especially your top hinge will kind of give a small bit.
Yeah.
So if you just take out this screw that's loose, this is just a handy little hack.
Yeah.
Just get a match or a toothpick or something like that. Just push it into it like that. Snap it off. You could put a dot of super glue on it as well if you needed, and then just put the screw back in again. And it wedges in.
The match fixes it.
Yeah, it so creates that lack of space inside the hole.
A little bit of a squeeze.
That's the first actual match fixing I've ever witnessed myself.
It's unbelievable.
There you go.
And do you know what? At least 50% of the screws that I've screwed in my own house are swinging around like that. And I'm like, sure, grand. The rest of them will hold it.
Yeah.
I always write off the loose ones.
And you can see that sometimes, especially on the carcass, which is the back part of your kitchen, the actual cabinet. So they're made of chipboard like this, and sometimes it can, over time, and look at from kids and stuff like that, can get loose like that. So if you just put a match in, maybe a dot of super glue as well, and it'll just create that lack of space again and
a bit of a squeeze, hold on. Yeah, that's great to know now, yeah.
Okay, right. That's the first
The house is about to fall apart, yeah. No, well, I learned some. I'll remember for the next house.
So this is for you, Ray. This is what you need to know now. So this is the adjustment on your hinges then. So even the hinges we have, like this hinge is probably 20 years old. It's all got the same adjustments on it. So if you look at a kitchen door, I know it's a door, but essentially it's a rectangle. So if you move one corner one way, another corner will move. If you move it in, the other corner will come out. So if you kind of keep that in mind, these older hinges have the same movement in them. The new ones are just slightly more convenient. Okay. So if we come across here, this unit here.
All right.
Right.
Can you come across here?
We're on our way.
Sure, I'll come around. Where do you want me?
Anywhere.
I'll stand here on this side.
Yeah.
How about that?
Okay.
I'll go around here.
You go around the front. Okay, grand.
So if I open this door here now, and so this screw here, this one here.
You see, you're the right place. This is why our presses are leaning to one side.
Go on.
So this screw here, essentially here, so what that does is that moves the door left and right. Okay, so watch this. So when I close it, see this little line here?
Yeah.
So if
it's not closing properly.
Yeah. So if I just twist this clockwise, so I'll just close it here so you can see it. So if I twist this like that, you see that moving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's moving the whole door that way.
Yeah.
Which is moving it up this way because it's a rectangle. that make sense?
You see, I've experienced at these hinges in my house.
Yeah.
And that little screw you're talking about, if that gets lost, you're snookered.
But on the same note, like a set of hinges is like €6.
Yeah.
So if you did lose one, just go down to your local shop and replace them. Like all these components are there on the shelf.
Yeah.
And people don't realise that. They see when a drawer is catching or a drawer is loose. Oh, that's new kitchen.
I don't know what that's for. Yeah, there is a bit of that. Yeah.
But a kitchen is made up of components. You know what I mean? So you can go down and get all these pieces off the shelf.
Okay.
So that one is your first adjustment. So that does this movement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That does make sense.
So then your next one is here. So it's this one on the plate. So what that does is that moves your door up and down. Okay?
Okay.
So if I twist this here on the plate, you can see, if you look carefully, you can see the whole hinge moving up and down.
So it moves up and down. Of course, there's the one on top as well corresponding. So you need to move them both by the same amount every time.
Exactly.
Okay,
so you can work between the two.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's a rectangle, not a door. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's just you moving. So we're going. First one goes left and right. Second one goes up and down. And then our last one then, it's the only other way it can move, is so if you see this gap here?
Yeah.
So if you want to get that this one moves it in and out.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch
that's the third one.
That's here at the back.
That's in and out.
Okay, so when I twist this, see it'll pull it back in and let it back out.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if I close this, you can see it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
See that there now? See you moving that in and out?
Okay, so you have to experiment with this then.
You should be where I am, because it's your doors that are a bit wonky.
Well, do you know what it is actually? It's the integrated fridge, and the fridge door isn't closing properly, and I'm sure it's costing us a fortune in keeping the open fridge door closed. But if you've got it, like in our case, all right, on the fridge, you've got like 4 of them the whole way up and down.
Yeah.
So you have to experiment a little bit the whole way.
And 100%, and even if you're at home there and you're looking at your kitchens, you can experiment. You know, if you're twisting it the wrong way, go the other way. You know, it's not going to fall out on top of you, you know what I mean? So there's only 2 ways it can go. You know, so if you want it to go up or down, if it's going down and you want it to go up, twist it the way.
Okay. So there are the 3, so there's in and out, up and down, and left and right.
That's the only ways it can go, yeah.
So,
okay.
€6
is about 10% of what a call-out charge is at the best of times. Are they easy to take off?
100%. So they're just small little screws. They're only 16mm screws. So if you look at all the kitchen doors we get now, so even no matter where you get your kitchen, they're all standard. You know, so they all have a circle here. So you can just pop this off like this, and it's just that little screw. This little screw. That's that hinge off. And even if you had to change one hinge, you don't even have to take the full door off. You just take one off.
Yeah.
And put it back on again.
Swap it in and out.
And use the same holes.
When you were saying that these are the newer or more modern version of the older ones, these are more versatile then, I guess. So if you wanted to swap out the older ones, if you've got an older kitchen,
very good. So like these would be slow closing as well. You can see that.
Okay.
So if you wanted to change out to slow closing doors, very simple. So if you wanted to, and another thing with these makes it easy. If you wanted to pop off your door,
that's what I meant.
And it pops off.
All right. So take the whole release.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are just a bit more convenient. And, you know, but the older ones, even the 20-year-old hinges, they do the same things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they the same hinges that will be on the bespoke kitchen and on your regular kitchen that you're putting together yourself from a flat pack?
Essentially, yeah. I hate to break the news to some people there, but they are very standard, and they're all the same size. All the doors are the same, are a certain size, and the difference in kitchens is when you put the pajamas on. When you put on the nice counters, the nice finishes on it, you know, that's when kitchens get more expensive. But for a fitter, it's essentially the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just they're essentially boxes. Yeah. And we're just attaching them up, make sure they're nice and level and square, and nice work, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't want to do anybody out of work. Everybody needs a Martin in their life.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, what did I tell you? It's taken another Martin for it to be proved.
Well, okay, I've learned something. Okay, I'm going to get that done this weekend. I've got the house to myself. The kitchen's going to be in bits by the time the family come back on Saturday. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to learn more DIY hacks, head to the website DIYacademy.ie for more from this man.
Very good. Right, up next, Deric's taking on Ireland's answer to Ronnie O'Sullivan. We're going to be back with you right after this break. Stay with us.
Very welcome back to Ireland Game. We're broadcasting live here from the Selbridge Snooker Club. We're down here in County Kildare, right across the mooring. We're joined now by one of the Irish greats of snooker, Fergal O'Brien, as well as some top young talent, Joe Shannon and his dad Damien. We'll get to them in a few moments' time. But first up, Fergal, you started off as a garçon when you were 8.
Yeah. got a table for Christmas from my grandparents. Kind of playing that day and night, and then about 12 starting going to a club. And I'd say from the age of 14, I just want to be a professional snooker player. So,
I mean, you've had a stellar career over the years, and we'll go back to 1994 because you had that century break in the Crucible.
Yeah, exactly. Still the only player ever, first frame of the Crucible, to have a century. So I tell everybody about it because it's probably the only record I have.
You're still milking it.
Oh, yeah. Milking on one frame.
Over the years, of course, you've performed at so many tournaments and you've played there. I suppose the British Open was one of your favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, to win it in '99 was fantastic. You can see the check. Well, the envelope for the check is still there, but the money's long gone. So obviously that was great to win a ranking event, and then I made a final of the Masters as well. So I've really enjoyed my career.
I mean, looking at the top snooker talent around the world, I mean, we're going back to Ronnie O'Sullivan, even our own Ken Doherty. I mean, we haven't had a win at snooker championship since 1999. Is that correct?
97, yeah. When
97,
Ken won the Worlds. Yeah, no, we're long overdue or whatever. So obviously with me retired and Ken's coming towards the end. We've young Aaron Hill from Cork on the tour as well. He's a great prospect as well. And then obviously we're going to talk to the likes of Joe as well. So I think that's what we're looking for. Certainly everybody involved in snooker in the next 10 years, we'd say looking for at least one Irish world champion and ideally one player from Ireland trying to get onto the tour. There was a time when I was starting off, there was 7 or 8 Irish pros. Most of them played here in Selbridge, whereas there hasn't really been many pros coming through. So I think myself and others who can give back to the SBI to try and promote, get more people playing firstly, and then try and get them more elite players as well.
Yeah, well overdue at this stage. Tell us about the snooker club here South End in Selbridge, Fergal.
Yeah, great club. It's here since '83. Phil Martin's been run since '94. So there's been numerous amateur champions who've played here. Every pro that's from Ireland has played here at some stage. They've won the club championships All Ireland 5 times, and even the last 35 years, every Thursday they have a flyer competition run off. So they have, like even last night, they'd over 20 players. They'd one of the lady players, a teenager, and Brendan Devlin, who's 82. So you get a total mixed bag. So that's run, I said, 35 years. So it's a real old school club.
You're now gone into coach as well. And we were talking about the young talent that's coming through, including Joe, who we're going to speak to in a moment's time.
Yeah, exactly. I think, as I said, mentioned Aaron Hill. There's in Cork as well, Leon Crowley and Ross Bullman have plenty of potential as well. And then obviously Joe's probably the outstanding prospect of the juniors. But as I've been down the junior events, apart from Joe, there's plenty of other really good players. So obviously I'd like to see Joe on the tour, but there's plenty of other lads we'd like to see on the tour as well, as many as possible.
All right, Fergal, we'll come back to you in a few moments' time because we're going to pop over here to Joe and his dad, Damien, all the way from County Longford. Good morning to you, Joe.
Good morning.
Joe, when did you start playing snooker?
I started playing when I was 8 years old over in Portugal. I was on holidays and there was a pool table there and I started playing pool, and then I came home and I started playing snooker and got a table.
And from there you've progressed because you've had a stellar career so far, and in fact you've won multiple national titles, right?
Yeah, I have. I've won a good few this season especially. I've won 10 national titles this season, and I won the under-16 national championships and under-14, so it's been a good season this season.
And I mean, you do have the highest break as well for the under-14 and the under-16 too.
Yeah, I have. I've got my highest was 67 this year, so that was nice, and it was nice to do in front of Fergal as well. So.
And I mean, who do you look up to now in terms of snooker stars?
Well, of course, my coach Fergal and the likes of Ken Doherty and Ronnie O'Sullivan. They're all my idols now.
And I mean, going forward in your career, then where do you see yourself down the line?
Well, I'd love to go pro, but I suppose that takes a lot of work. But I'd be ready to do it and hopefully be world champion and be the best. But
and remember, it all started right here in Ireland AM, okay?
Yeah.
Remember this moment. Dad, Damien, it's a huge commitment. Obviously, you're a couple of miles outside Longford town. You're coming down here, you're driving up and down every week to get him the lessons and the skills that he needs.
Yeah, well, with your children, you do anything you can for them. And with Joe's talent, it seemed a natural progression to get him proper coaching and give him the right footing in the game so that he could progress with it through the years, you know. know.
And of course, Joe's just back from Leeds. How did they get on over there?
Yeah, he got on really well. I mean, he's only 13 years of age, and this is his third year to represent Ireland, and he captained the under-16 team this year, being the youngest member of the team as well. So he's really excelling at the sport so far. So.
And Joe, you were just pipped to the post by Northern Ireland, I believe, was it?
Yeah, we just lost out in the semi-finals, so it's hard to take, but we'll learn from it.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, Joe, you have a bit of a chance to redeem yourself here this morning, because, Fergal, what are we going to be doing?
Firstly, Joe's going to do a little demonstration of spins on the cue ball. The first one, he's going to play the red, play top spin on the white and follow through. So you'll watch the white ball follow after. You see he's sitting to the top of the white there, running through. Beautiful, perfect cue. The next one, he's going to pot the red and stop the white. So you'll see as he plays just below centre, striking on the white. Beautiful, smooth hit.
Bang on the blue, yes.
And then the last one, he's going to play back spin. So he's going to pot the red and the white ball's going to come back towards him. So we'll see quite low on the cue ball here. Lovely and smooth. And he's hit it perfect right back where he is.
And this is why he is national champion. No pressure there on live TV. All right, I'm going to do a bit of a trick shot before we wrap up. What are we doing here, Fergal?
Well, you were getting bored only putting a 5, so we're going to throw in a 6 one for you.
So we have 6 balls here.
So you're going to hit the pink.
Are you sure now?
You're going to hit the pink but pot the black.
Okay, hit
nice
the pink
and slow with the
pot
cue action. Do what Joe did.
Okay, Joe.
One go.
Are you watching this now, Joe? All right. Here, though, August the 3. Oh, there we go. 2. We got 2 in. Come here. Where can we find out more online? Is there a website?
There is, yeah, for the Celebrate Snooker Club.
Okay.
So they're welcome for loads of new members.
All right, you're always looking for new people to come down. For me and all the crew here, from Joe and Damien, everyone down here at Celebrate Snooker Club. I did well, guys, didn't I? My first trick shot. Back to you in the studio.
Oh, 6-ball cannon. Very impressive.
I tell you, he's not coming back now. He's playing for money now for the rest the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, the hustler.
Deric the hustler. The Olympics, yeah. Is snooker in the Olympics?
No.
Okay. Maybe it should be.
Maybe it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, just to give Deric a chance to go for gold.
Yeah, give Deric a chance. So speaking of the Olympics, everyone's been texting in for their favourite Olympic moments. Lisa says Torvill Dean won ice dance gold in Sarajevo in 1984.
Yeah, Winter Olympics. Yeah,
yes.
Of course. Why not? Why not?
It's different. It's different.
Billy, I'm right with you on this. John Tracy coming in the Coliseum in second place after collapsing the 10,000 metres a few days earlier. What an achievement it was for him to win the silver medal in LA.
And Paul, the rowers, of course. Pull like a dog. Paul and Finton arriving back to Ireland. The observation that there wasn't a big homecoming for them, but there is going to be a huge homecoming for the whole team for all of the Olympians on Monday in Dublin City Centre.
Paul and Finton are double Olympic gold medals as well.
Yes.
Defending,
they came home early because they are training for the World Championships in 3 weeks' time, but I'm sure they'll make the trip up to Dublin for the big celebrations on Monday.
Yeah,
we would imagine.
Great crack, fair play to
they're very
the lift.
They're very humble. They wouldn't have wanted a fuss when they got back on Monday anyway, probably.
Keep the head down.
Yeah.
Just bring the oars through. And pick it up in the heavy luggage section.
Yeah. Pivot! Pivot!
Any more of your Olympics memories? And we were talking about music as well at the Olympics. Yeah, drop them in on
0896 111 111. Now, still to come, I'm with the cast of the movie, which is rumoured to find itself an Oscar nominee next year. Find out how I got on at the Irish premiere of Kneecap.
Now let's get a check on your morning papers. We'll start with the Irish Times, and they lead with Drew Harris turns down offer of contract extension. The paper reports that the Garda Commissioner has been approached by the government about another extension to his contract, but he has declined it.
Watchdog force alleged abusers to leave family home. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. They report that the Children's Ombudsman has said that domestic abusers should be removed from their homes on foot of allegations of violence.
The Examiner leads with spike in food closures after VAT hike. The paper writes that more than 570 restaurants, cafes and other food businesses have permanently shut their doors since last September amid rising business costs and an increase in the VAT rate.
On to the tabloids, and the Herald opens with detergent on cornflakes killed pensioner. It writes that an elderly man has died as a result of poisoning after he mistakenly poured washing detergent instead of milk on a bowl of cornflakes.
The Mirror leads with machete and bomb plot on Taylor Swift fans. It writes that 2 teenagers allegedly plotted to murder Taylor Swift fans with machetes and a bomb in Vienna.
The Daily Mail opens with, "We simply can't build that many new homes." It reports that officials in the Department of Finance have warned that housing figures lauded by Minister Deric O'Brien need to come with a huge caveat, and achieving them is highly unlikely.
And The Sun leads with the headline, "Nation holds its breath." It reports that sprinter Rashida Adeleke's proud mother has told how she's bursting with pride as Ireland holds its breath for the final tonight at 7 p.m. Adeleke is due to take her marks and get set to make history at Paris 2024.
And the Star opens with, "The track will be 90. It writes that the first ever civic reception for an Irish Olympic team will take place on Monday as the country celebrates its most successful games ever. The celebrations will mirror the reception given to Jack Charlton and the Ireland soccer team following their performance in Italia 90.
It's going to be wild,
Mental.
The homecoming on Monday. They've said it's not ticketed, you can just show up. So that's in Dublin, outside the GPO on
Monday at 12:30, from 12:30,
awesome.
yes. We've been discussing Olympic memories all morning and people have been texting their favourite ones in. Liz says, "Who can forget Misha the Bear from Moscow's 1980 Olympics? I cried when he said goodbye at the closing ceremony."
Yeah. That's probably Liz's first Olympics, if truth be known.
Who's this, what?
Liz. Liz was talking about Misha.
Liz. OK, sorry, Liz was texting, sorry. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Queen of England. No, she was around.
Well, she was jumping out of airplanes in 2012 with James Bond, wasn't she?
This is it. She was around a while by 1980.
God rest
Loads of people texting, but I suppose for generations of people, for Ireland Olympic fans, generations of people, their biggest memories will be the boxing wins.
Oh,
you know, winning boxing, and particularly Katie Taylor. Orla says definitely Katie Taylor's gold. I still watch it back. And for more generations, it's going to be Kelly Harrington as well.
Tina says the same about Katie's fight, And Kelly Harrington, will be right up there too.
Absolutely.
Her sing-song at this year's Olympics.
I know, wasn't what a voice.
Yeah.
Gold medal winner and a phenomenal singer.
And so much joy.
That's the next career.
Yeah, and then...
Yeah, she's going to be pivoting. She'll be singing. Dancing with the Stars has to be next, I guess.
There you go. It's the natural course, isn't it? But her parents were singing the same song outside their house in Portland Road the same night. Amazing.
Oh, beautiful.
It was cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. Keith says he also remembers Ken Egan's gold medal. I met him a few years after. What a lovely fella he is.
He actually won a silver medal.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but it should have been a gold. And the world acknowledged that.
But that must be what Keith is remembering.
That's what Keith is upgrading Ken, but it should have been a gold.
Okay.
Well,
he won that fight.
Particularly for Irish boxers, and even in this year's Olympics, there's been an awful lot of should have beens. But anyway, we're not going off on that tangent. We don't have the time. We'll be here all morning.
Up next, I'm hanging out with West Belfast hip hop trio Kneecap, as you do. We'll see you after the break.
This week on Ireland AM, we have teamed up with Tipperary Crystal to give away an amazing prize to one lucky viewer. Tipperary Crystal is honoured to support the Irish Olympics team for 2024. In celebration of this partnership, we are thrilled to announce an exclusive giveaway. One lucky winner will receive a €2,000 Tipperary Crystal voucher, which can be spent on tipperarycrystal.ie. Perfect for indulging in our exquisite collection of jewellery, homeware and gifts. Join us in cheering for Team Ireland and experience the elegance and quality of Tipperary Crystal. Enter now for your chance to win and bring the renowned quality of Tipperary to your home. For your chance to win, just answer this question. In what city is the 2024 Olympics held? A. Paris or B. London? To enter, call 1550 999 333 or text WIN to 57199. Best of luck!
More Díobh Armagh agus Fáilte Raisig an Glór. A music biopic born from an all-night bender is fast becoming a potential Oscar contender in the Best International Feature category, meaning it could be yet another great year for Ireland at next year's Academy Awards. Kneecap hits Irish cinemas this weekend, and I caught up with the Belfast punk rap trio at the movie's Dublin premiere.
We're going to Deric. Níl leis leite go mangéile grú. George go studio aga. Agus is mín seo ceáile dar leis. Kom leis go mer kan siúr om kringle Dr. Drainer again.
Is er again Ganesh and Dini, the hip hop na harem.
Tor kusten a kans.
Can't fa.
Can't fa.
Speak English.
There's more Gaelic. Gach focal Gaelic a literature.
Shepilder, Skelter, Sensation and
Well, Corda Sliv, Iha Ulwer, Calorha, and Nocht, August Rare. Inishtum Fuin Sconon. Was a Kneecap film always in the 5-year plan for the band, or was this something that came knocking on your door?
Whenever we started out, obviously, we had no intentions of doing this. We were just doing it for our own social groups and just for Dini Hartaranya to understand the crack as well.
You've heard of intergenerational trauma, right?
No, Jesus, just got with Jay Lara, it's Cumberland, just have a Togo Gray, just Kermit Kjol, or Kermit Oranama, then with the Soul, come out dinner be when sold us, like an Shaga's car, just something,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Harry, Tishmahori took it. Yeah, it's Bradley and Tishmahori.
Well, I'd say, well, look, and yard fans are going to pitch my horse in Europe.
Well, where's the jail in Tishmahori?
So you play yourselves in the movie. Was this always on the table, or Neil Tahiash Dorthog of every show, right?
Nero, running with acting classes, like you say, there for about 6 months, and because acting obviously is a skill you have to try and acquire.
I thought it was easy.
It was easy. It was the role we were born to play.
Daytosh in a rock. Were you playing hiking version of yourself, and you just should faint if you want to?
Oh, strip back versions. Yeah, really easy up. Yeah.
Glachid Gorea. So here's some for Michael Fassbender, Chris Reigelblesh, and did you get him into Madden's bar?
Eventually we got him in the Madden's bar. He was wearing a full tracksuit, and there's a very strict dress code in Madden's, and I had to slip him a $5, the doorman, to get him in.
Moffar.
Yeah.
You want to kid off enough?
For my size to jury, because we couple of again, so you know, because you're crack.
I'll get to serving Esper to go over to Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, well, we should kind of starstruck there, will she then again too, so because how much more acting tips stuff.
Yeah, credit.
Actually, Jerry had actually come out here and scan so fair play to Michael. Roddy Mora and Andish.
Yes, absolutely.
This is an Irish interpreter.
I'm not.
Do you speak Irish?
Aye.
That'll do.
Agus an darby nás a chéile go mai scan an Oscar go beidir go le na Oscars, put us a wohin would fi sin.
Yeah, ma jig dúil go agus an Oscar wins ag lag Irash go hit Catch My Gold. Agus rich white clatterings I anu ma has an Oscar hin.
Agus ceirtá now the Kneecap league and scan on show.
And yes, can show up as you like Kneecap door, tree, car, coog, share, kind of like Belfast and Furious.
Simone, great to see you. You may tell us a little bit about who you play in the film.
So I played Dolores, so that's Mowgli Bap's mum. He's been raised by his mum because his dad, Michael Fassbender's character Arlo, fakes his own death and he's off away. So she's quite agoraphobic. She stays indoors a lot, so the relationship between her and her son is very important to his kind of trajectory, and she's a great character. She's a real good Belfast mum.
And this movie seems to be grabbing audiences, it's getting headlines. Why do you think that people are loving it so much?
I think it's got a ton of energy, and I think it's really unexpected in that it's really funny, but it's also got a lot of heart and it's quite emotional as well.
What do you hope people take away from this film?
I think the message at the end about our culture and our identity and the Irish language is really, really important, and I think the boys deliver it really well.
Absolutely. And how were they to work with? Their first big acting gig?
Nightmares. No, they were so much fun and really welcoming, and I couldn't speak higher of them actually. They're super guys.
So they behaved themselves?
100%. Around me they did.
Okay.
I know they give our director Rich a really hard time, but they're very nice to me.
Okay, look at you.
Yeah.
Fanula Flaherty go hálan tú eisce Darren Garpe Darganach inis dún céin róla tá agat sa scanán seo.
So Caitlin an character tá amsa sinní girlfriend le JJ Múnchar Gailge agus DJ Provi ag Jeran scanán agus bín si gobard lens ram Deric an grúpa a bhín sa gobard ar son Carta Chango was a túisgurt.
So inis Suman Shin, how was it filming the film in Belfast that has such a vibrant Irish language community and filming a movie based on Irish language?
Well, I mean, it was so exciting. I'm predominantly an Irish language actress. That's what I started off with. Most of my work is with T.G. Cahir, both in film and series. But this felt definitely different. I'd obviously never shot in Belfast, so that was a different experience in terms of the different Irish. It was so special. I got to use my own Inishmore Irish, which was a nice little magic touch. But it was a blast. It was really special, and it felt very kind of significant to be shooting where the boys grew up, and they'd be able to tell us, you know, stories about their experiences. So it felt very intimate as well when we were doing it, like we were in our own little Kneecap bubble, and now we're all just travelling around together.
Well, look, you're part of the family now, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So Clusham gur moon tour húnis, agus go míl na dáltaí a gurí brandúirns gone on. Will you let them watch it in class?
I don't know about in class, but we'll see. I'll definitely encourage them to sneak into the cinema if they can.
Look at me. No more music.
Shut 10 more talking.
Show our skill. Something like that.
And a reminder that Kneecap is in Irish cinemas now.
It looks amazing.
It's very fun.
Is it?
Very fun. And it's got the widest release of an Irish film ever in Irish cinemas, so...
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Do you think the Americans will be able to deal with the lads as they rock up on Oscars night?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they'll deal with them on the red carpet.
Can they get tuxedo green and white tracksuits?
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing a tracksuit on the red carpet. I am.
Yeah, change up the style. Who are you wearing?
Well,
O'Neill's.
Like, it's more... It's better than just a black tux. That's what all the men wear, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I
Mix it up a
suppose,
bit.
yeah, it's a bit different. Fair play to you as well. Well, you were sort of managing, and it was a wild party going on in the background. You were managing them as well.
Oh, yeah.
What were they like? Because they were sort of, and the pints were coming in as well.
They were flying. See, it was their first interview when they got in the door, and they'd just come in from, they arrived on this big van, and there was crowds, and so I think they were still kind of like acclimatising to the whole thing. So, and then I threw a microphone in their face, and that's what happened.
Yeah, no better woman. You're
I know, but you've been talking about Kneecap for a long time.
I have. I've been following them since they started in 2018, and I went to, I think, a gig in 2018 of theirs. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan. Huge
We're all
fan.
6 years ago.
Yeah. I know.
Really starting out. Yeah.
OK, we need to organise a percentage cut for Shiva. You know, she's been... We certainly do.
Yeah.
But the movie looks great, and it really does have a good
phenomenal.
energy. And there's some lovely subplots going on in there too.
Yeah, and what they've done as well is they haven't really given that much cultural context. They've just thrown the movie as it is in West Belfast at you, and they're kind of like, figure it out yourself, you know? So they're not doing this big, like, babying the audience, explaining the history. It's kind of like, you just get it from the clues in it, you know?
OK, yeah. We were talking about it yesterday, that like, it's a lot of people, and I would imagine a lot of Americans, because it's going to be, it's going to be all over the world. People will be watching it. A lot of people internationally will have a notion of Belfast that it's like Belfast as we would have thought of it in 1982 or whatever. And it's obviously 2024.
Yeah.
These are young kids young guys living in, working in Belfast. It's a very different picture.
Exactly, exactly, and that's kind of what they're trying to paint. They're trying to paint like how it is, and like, yes, of course, the history has an effect on these young people, but like their lives now. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all rapping, you know? This is what happened.
And hilarious and funny and talented and intergenerational trauma.
I know.
All been covered.
Yes, I'm Michael Fassbender.
I'm sure where would you be with a bit of Michael? It's out this weekend. We'll be watching it in cinemas. We'll be sneaking in ourselves to watch it.
All right, after the break, we're dining Italian style in the kitchen. We'll see if there's some frittatas after this break.
Thanks, Deric. Celbridge looking gorgeous today, and you're
lots of buses in Celbridge.
What?
They have a great bus service in Celbridge.
They've got a solid bus service. It was more buses than cars going past there. It's good to see. Cheers. Lovely to catch up. Now it's still breakfast time, so today we're using one of the most versatile food products to fill our bellies.
It's all about eggs today, and Tara Walker has a simple recipe that'll work for brunch, lunch, and everything in between, or indeed after.
Hi, Tara.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, a lovely little summery, easy dish. Exactly. So lunch, maybe a picnic even, a little quick tea time, and gorgeous in summer because it's really, really light. And it's courgette, mint, and feta. So, lovely summer. And also, summertime's a good time to do it because the courgettes are lovely when they're in season. They're not so, flavourful when they're just from the supermarket, kind of industrially grown, Okay. So I'm starting with some nice extra virgin olive oil, and I'm using this on purpose. I nearly always don't cook with olive oil, especially extra virgin, but I'm not really going to heat the pan too hot. I just want to soften the veg, again, to keep those lovely courgettes, keep the flavour in them. I'm not trying to like caramelise them a lot or anything like that.
Okay.
So starting with some onions in my pan.
Okay.
And I'm just going to soften those down a little bit. And then here are my courgettes. So I picked up these gorgeous courgettes in McNally's farm shop the other day. They grow beautiful organic veg, and that's why I did the recipe. I love shopping like that, where it's you go in, you choose what lovely vegetables are in season, and then build a recipe around it. Yeah, so I have lovely little baby yellow and green courgettes here. So I'm just going to pop those into the pan with the onions and just let them soften down just a little bit. And this is great even for leftovers. If you make an extra batch, make a bigger omelette, make a bigger frittata, and you can leave it in the fridge. It's great if you just want to grab a quick lunch at the desk or whatever. You know, for anyone who's working from home, perfect.
You just caught yourself there. You said omelette, and
I did.
I was just on the cusp of saying, come here. Is it just a fancy word for an omelette?
Well, it's an Italian omelette. Put it that way. So omelette is a French word, the classic French, and there's always that little pull, isn't there, between the French and the Italians over whose food is better and who did it first and all of that sort of thing. So just let that soften down a little bit, and then I've got 6 eggs here.
Yeah.
And use good quality eggs if you can. These are lovely. These are called Feckin fresh eggs. I'm from Termon Feckin, so these are lovely eggs.
Glad you qualified that.
I know, I had to qualify it. So it's great because he has an honesty box and you can just go and grab them at any time of the night or day.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
There'll be a queue tonight, will you see?
I'm telling you, yeah. Be no feckin' eggs left.
And once you have those mashed up, you can, or whisked up, don't over whisk. So you don't want the eggs to become super silky smooth, because then you won't get that nice sort of fluffy texture inside.
Okay.
And then just keep on letting that soften down another moment or two. And then I have some mint from the garden here. So I brought some nice mint flowers just to kind of garnish, just to make it look a bit nice. If you're doing a picnic or a lunch al fresco or something like that, it's nice. So I was out in my pyjamas early this morning picking the mint.
It's that
lovely
fresh.
and fresh, yes, yeah. So just going to take a few leaves, and then a handy way to slice your mint, to chop it down, is just, this is called chiffonade, where you lay your leaves on top of each other and roll them up. Chiffonade, yes.
Chiffonade, okay.
So leaves that are a bit wider like this, like basil works this way as well, and just slice it down like this, and that's
I'm
it,
just
ready
thinking
to go.
about Tara's neighbours, who probably think her nerves are on
I know.
Because she was out in the garden.
In her pyjamas.
In her pyjamas at 4 or 5, picking stuff out.
Yeah, well, as long as you wear pyjamas to bed, Tara, do you know?
Yes, I was wearing my pyjamas,
yeah, okay,
I have to say, yes.
Yeah, shouting chiffonade and feckin' eggs. Right, so the eggs have gone in.
Yeah, the eggs have gone in now, and here I am crumbling the feta in. Whoops, crumbling it all over the place. Here we go. And look, you can use any cheese you want with this. You could use some goat's cheese. Gruyere would be lovely. If you're not into those kinds of cheeses, you could even just go with a little bit of cheddar, you know, and really you can put anything you want into these frittatas. But I just particularly love this one in summer when the courgettes are in season, because they're just so beautiful. You know, they don't really have a lot of flavour ordinarily. They just pick up the flavour from other things. And I think it's lovely when you get those baby courgettes. They're so beautiful. Okay, so you're just going to turn the heat up on that, let the bottom of it just set, basically, and then you can finish it off in the oven or under a grill. So just before we started.
So how will you know when it's ready to go under?
Here we go.
Oh, look at this.
So look at that, just lovely and puffed up. Don't worry, it will kind of fall down a little bit when you cut it or whatever. It's only when it's come straight out. So I have the grill on there, not super high, just medium. I popped it in literally just before we started. So what, 4 minutes ago or something like that. And that's it ready. And then you can just loosen it out. And hopefully it'll come away. It is important to use a good non-stick pan for this, because if you have a kind of scratch pan, it'll probably break. It'll still taste delicious, but you just won't get it out in one go. Yeah.
And tell us, with the extra you were making the point of the extra virgin earlier on, that the heating point or the burning point is a lot lower on
it is lower, yeah. And I mean, this is a gorgeous, this is actually owned by people, this is like Castrolenia olive oil, and it's owned by people who live in County Meath or Westmeath, I'm not sure, Athboy I think it is, but they have a place in Spain and they only produce a certain amount of this olive oil every year, so I wouldn't waste it on cooking, if you see what I mean, normally, except I want the flavour of that beautiful olive oil in my frittata today.
There's a lot to be said for the olive oil business.
Really?
Well, but there's the gang for Athboy.
Yeah, straight away.
That little place in Spain.
I always feel like I'm wasting it when I use it, though. That's the thing. And like you'd always hear then about like it doesn't, you know, once it gets to a certain temperature, you're way.
And it can actually become carcinogenic if it's really, really hot and smoking as well, which you don't want. So that's why it's just on a very kind of low temperature here, but it's adding a lovely flavour into the centre of our frittata. And here we go. And
You see, there's like this would be my first time to eat yellow courgette.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just lovely. Look, courgette is not the most flavourful vegetable you've ever seen, but it takes on the flavour of other things really nicely. And when it is really fresh like this, it just has that lovely green, summery kind of flavour to it, you know. And then you can just garnish up with a few more of your herbs. It's always nice to garnish with things that are in the, you know, so that people know what's in there, basically. And I have some mint flowers here. And let me serve you up a slice, guys.
Thank you.
Fabulous. The cheese is a good shout. I suppose, like, no more than with an omelette, you've got that idea of find something that you want to build it around. So in this case, it's the courgettes, but you could be looking at a ham and cheese or whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or potatoes are gorgeous in there for a Spanish take on a tortilla. Peppers, obviously. Any veg really at all. Just some knives and forks there for you folks. And yeah, lovely in a sandwich.
Nice summer salad for accompaniment.
Absolutely,
if you would need it.
I did debate bringing some kale today and doing some kale crisps in the oven, which is just olive oil, this lovely olive oil on the kale, bit of salt and pepper, crisp it up in the oven, just because that's quite a soft texture, so it's nice to have a crunch with it.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it's lovely in a baguette as a kind of picnic dish as well. Yeah.
Tell us about prepping it up in advance. You could be making this up and kind of take it.
Yeah, so like if this would be left over, I know it won't be because the crew are always very hungry at the end, but if this was left over, I could put that in the fridge and I could have it for lunch tomorrow or dinner tonight or something like that, yeah. Or even pop it in a lunchbox and bring it to work with me.
OK, I'm just thinking of a 21-year-old in my house and a 25-year-old. I'm thinking more at 2 in the morning when they come in. What a hassle.
Super quick, we're even ahead of time. Yeah.
There's no pizza.
Up very quickly.
I'll go for the frittata that Tara taught Dad how to make. Tara, good to see you.
And you too.
Thank you, Tara.
For full recipe details, they're up on our website, or as ever, you can find more from Tara on our website, tarawalker.ie.
Now up next, summer layering, because we all need it this August.
We've been out there, it's freezing.
It is cold, it's chilly, so we're layering up. We're going to be talking fashion after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The weather hasn't been playing ball this summer, meaning autumn seems even closer to us than it should. So this morning we're focusing on light layering because we'll probably need it before the leaves start to fall. And stylist Laura Jordan joins us. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
Light layering, talk to me.
It's a necessity rather than a choice, quite honestly, at the moment. So what we're going to look at is smart purchases to see us through till what we hope is true autumn winter. And also, if you have some pieces at home that are more summery, how to layer them up, get the most out of them and be able to wear them rather than sit them in the wardrobe looking at them.
Multi-use, I like it.
Yes,
okay,
that's what
let's
we want
have
to
a look at the first look.
Smart about it. So our first look is, again, layering with what is technically a jacket and coat, but it all blends together. When we choose coats and jackets, we tend to cover up our whole outfit with them and then feel we're wearing them for 9 months more of the year. So what we're looking to do here is choose tones and textures that blend so that the jacket is just as much part of the outfit as the shirt is. And it all, again, tonally blends together nicely. This outfit is from Quite Fun in Clonakilty in Cork and also available on their website. They have really individual and unique pieces. And the texture and the detail on them, there's always something unusual, whether it be the embroidery, whether it be the positioning of embellishment. It really is an unusual, and it's the type of pieces you'll say, where's that from? Which is always what we're looking for in terms of items to add into the wardrobe. So this again will work with a fine knit jumper underneath it. Again, we've got jeans and boots with it, but you can see the potential for it. In terms of the waistcoat, which we have here, we've layered it over the shirt. If it was, summer holiday, you might wear that buttoned up by itself with a pair of shorts. So again, thinking ahead to how you can use pieces one way or the other. And again, the detail and the buttoning on this means you can have it closed or open depending on your preference, and more importantly, to get more wear out of it. All about the number of wears you can get from one potential piece. And then similarly with the shirt, it's got the collar giving it that smartness. I love a collar because it frames the face, it elongates the neck, and it just gives a very clear point from which your outfit and look begins. And it can also also heighten and lengthen our bodies as well. With this piece we have here, it's just got a half button down because that can sometimes cause issue. You like to have just a flow from the tummy. These jeans, and it's a strange thing to say, but they're particularly soft.
Okay.
And again, we want comfort in denim. It's a huge, asset when you don't have a scratchy pair of denim, particularly if you're sitting for the day in them. So these are a lovely straight pair, again, merchandised with the top pieces. And the boots are your piece to bring you right through.
Yeah.
So if you're purchasing shoes from now on, realistically, they're going to be autumn-winter pieces. And these, again, from the Shoehorn in Skerries, all available through their website as well. There's quite a selection of their summer pieces in, and a rubber sole, which I always look for in a winter boot. In terms of the accessories and details we've put with this, because there's a good bit of embellishment in this look, we've gone for really simple pieces. These are from the Cat and the Moon in Sligo, and they're also stocked in many other retailers. All can be seen on their website. So keeping it simple with the feather design, and we see that brought through with the bracelets as well. And the long pendant, you can just see it sitting there nicely just at the tip of the waistcoat. That is mirroring the shape of the look, and that's what you always want to do, is make sure that your accessories and the jewellery you choose elongate and mirror and emphasise the right bits of your look to pull it all together.
That is such a gorgeous boho look. I'm obsessed. The colours and everything, it's so nice.
Yeah, and the texture as well, it's a lovely kind of warm, relaxed piece. Now, what we've done with this is we've taken a summer jumpsuit, which you may have in your wardrobe. You may be looking to add to your wardrobe if you still have an event coming up. And yes, you can wear it with a pointed heel, a stiletto, a clutch bag and glam. What I've done here is dressed it right down. So I want to always get more wears out of one piece. Literally my entire way of shopping. And when we look at this here, we've got our anorak, which is an essential really for autumn. I mean, dare I say an essential for the moment. And when you have the hood on it, those practical elements, and you've got the lovely drawstring, giving it a little bit of focus at the waist. This is mirrored with the denim shirt underneath it. It's just giving a little bit more texture, another piece of colour, and we folded the collar in. So it kind of pulls it all into one look, as opposed to being like, sorry, if you put a shirt and and a coat on. It's actually pulled in together and kept it quite tonal. And the jumpsuit itself, it's high-waisted, it's darted nicely, it's got that really lovely finish, and then at the back there's a little crisscross too. So there's loads of elements to it that is ideal for a bit of summer, a bit of sun, particularly if you've got an event or occasion, but yet adding those more casual layers to it makes it wearable for lots more occasions. And then a simple flat loafer, it's quite difficult to get a navy shoe, particularly a flat one. And these work particularly well with a navy trouser or denim, again, to elongate the leg.
I can imagine them with denim, they'd be gorgeous.
Yes, and if you wear navy trousers for work, as part of a uniform, and you want to add something to it that is smart and stylish, they are your options. Now, when you have bare skin, we want to give a point of difference to it, and we've done that with the details. Starting with the earrings, which are the exact same pattern and match in beautifully. These are from Martina Hamilton, available within the Cat and the Moon, and again, just different. So you're looking at Irish design, sterling and gold, and a beautiful kind of finish to that look, because it's all about, you've got a lot of skin, you want to add the accessories.
You do, you want something to pop there, don't you? Yeah. Ooh, very neutral.
So we've gone neutral here, and with this neutral look, what we've done is we've taken the tailoring and dressed it down again with the jacket over it. So when we look at a leather effect jacket or a bomber or suede or something along those lines.
So this is just a leather effect, is it?
Exactly, yeah. You are looking for a shape. So you can see that it cuts in just at the waist there on Grace, and we're looking at the tone. So the colour of the jacket matches the colour of the buttons, and it blends well. So again, it's too cold to wear a waistcoat and trousers pretty much anywhere. So add the jacket and you don't feel you're compromising the look. It still looks smart, but it's practical, and that's what we want to achieve. So the waistcoat and trousers are a co-ord set from On Trend. Again, if the sun comes out, we're set.
Yes,
but
there's always the risk.
Yes, so you're prepared either way, and that's what we want to look at. And again, these will work beautifully glam with the clutch bag and heel, but a trainer or loafer, as we have with them here, just makes them more realistic for every day. So it's not just a piece you wear once for an occasion, it's something that comes into your wardrobe for day to day, which is really important. Again, these khaki are really kind of the colour of autumn typically is that khaki green or brown and rust and all those colours we associate with autumn. And this is another option to it as well. And again, part of a lovely selection that they have in the Shoehorn. these detail pieces, we've gone for a two-tone earring. I love a mixed metal because whether you've got gold or silver on, it'll match both.
It's quite non-committal, isn't it?
I love that, on the fence, quite literally. And then we have the floral just detail with a small little pearl. I love pearl near the face, again, as we always say, whitens the teeth and brightens the eyes, and then just a simple finish to it. So it's just been delicate about that detail and the neckline because you've got buttons and zips going on and you want to just balance from there.
And back to boho.
Yes.
Look at this.
So again, as I mentioned earlier, quite fun, just have really unusual pieces, and they are the queens of layering because it's sort of it's relaxed, you know, it's not as structured as the tailor pieces we saw a couple of looks ago. So with this knit here, again, it's the throw over, but it looks so chic and smart with t-shirt and jeans. And as we've done here, we've taken the pink tone out of that cardi and matched it in with the dungarees that we see. So it's cozy, it's comfortable, it's a coat, a cardigan and a top, kind of all in one, to be honest. So there's a lot of options in how you wear it and how you run it. It's just so smart. In terms of the pieces we put with it, the dungarees, again, bring out that colour. What I like about these is they're waisted. You can see that there is notches on the belt there. It gives a clear definition between the top and bottoms of the dungarees. Also, I like the 7/8 finish. If you're looking, where should jeans trousers fit? It should be 2 fingers above the ankle bone. So that allows that to happen there. And again, trainers from Shoehorn and detail and jewellery as well from the Cat in the Moon.
Fabulous, Laura. Thanks so much for that. What's going up tomorrow, guys?
Busy show tomorrow. Coming up in the morning, one of the biggest stars in Irish country music, Cleona Hagan, will be joining us.
Yeah, and we'll be getting an education in Celtic history when we take a swing at the ancient Irish art of stick fighting.
Whoa. We'll be fighting in the morning.
Do we need to bring our own sticks for that now?
Well, I think they might bring a few for us.
Will they? Yeah. Will I just bring a hurling?
Well, you could bring one of them. Yeah, I'll bring a golf club. Sure, it'll be a great crack.
We'll lash into each other tomorrow morning.
We'll be taking some inspo from Kneecap and asking just how hard is it to learn Irish as an adult?
Anna Aiska. All that plus toasties with a Korean twist in the kitchen, and we're stealing the style of Paul Mescal on the catwalk. We are back in the morning from 9 a.m.
We're stealing Paul's style. Well, the gold chain and the shorts, I guess.
Sure, why not?
Yes.
The O'Neill shorts.
The Oscar? No, he doesn't have that yet, does he?
An Oscar. Well, oh yeah, he's getting close enough. Every year he's getting closer and closer, isn't
We're
he?
asking about your Olympic memories today, and Team Ireland in 2024, says Dee Dee.
Yeah.
What a fantastic bunch, and there's lots more like Dee Dee saying that this year's team will be their memory forever.
Yes, well, Rhys McClenaghan, I watched him win the gold. I was
What an emotional win.
Oh my God, it was incredible. The whole pub was watching. It was a great collective moment, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty special.
It was fantastic, and fingers crossed tonight.
For Rashida.
We'll see Rashida. Come on, Ireland. Come on, Rashida. 7 o'clock this evening. We'll all be running. We're all training for the rest of the day, are we?
Yeah.
Don't you know? The hurdles are set up outside, so we can run with Sarah as well.
We'll be in the morning with the sticks. Listen, have a lovely Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.